This is Đà Nẵng TV News brought to you by the Đà Nẵng Radio and Television. My name is Truyền. In today's news, we feature the following headlines. More than 153,000 deaths from COVID-19 globally. Drastically combating COVID-19 in new stage. Fourteen design architectural plans for upgrading coal market enters presentation round. As of April the 18th morning at Vietnam time, the number of deaths from COVID-19 worldwide exceeded 150,000. A total of over 150,000 deaths from COVID-19 were reported worldwide, including nearly 97,000 deaths in Europe, equivalent to nearly two-thirds of the total death toll. The United States recorded the highest number of deaths in the world, reaching more than 34,500. Europe is still a hotspot for the COVID-19 epidemic. As of April the 17th evening, COVID-19 claimed the lives of nearly 18,700 people in France. Meanwhile, the Italian Civil Protection Department announced that 575 more deaths from COVID-19 were reported, bringing the total number of deaths in this country to more than 22,700. Currently, the COVID-19 epidemic is becoming more and more complicated. The fight against COVID-19 is entering a new stage, and Đà Nẵng is still persistently implementing synchronous solutions to controlling and curbing the spread of epidemic. Currently, Đà Nẵng has carried out 4 rounds of surveillance to detect COVID-19, including surveillance at border gates, surveillance at city entry points, surveillance in community, and surveillance via e-health declarations. Currently, the supervision activities to timely detect, localize, and quarantine infected and suspected cases have been highly concentrated by the health sector and localities. Along with immigration control, the quarantine checkpoints at gateways to the city have been on duty all day and night. Entering the second quarter of 2020, which is also the peak period of the fight against the COVID-19 epidemic, businesses in Đà Nẵng are trying their best to maintain production and business activities, as well as giving COVID-19 prevention and control as the top priority. According to the City Department of Industry and Trade, the work of epidemic prevention and control is being drastically implemented in businesses, especially those having foreign employees. The City's Department of Industry and Trade has trained and coordinated with relevant departments and agencies to review and forecast the market demand and export situation of enterprises. The focus is also on promoting consumption in domestic market by supporting businesses in bringing their products into supermarket systems. The Vietnam Electricity is urgently upgrading its online invoice calculation tool posted on the EVN and customer section on EVN's website address at evn.com.vn, which includes calculation function for electricity price trend with the support level as prescribed. Customers can track the amount of support money, which is displayed as e-invoice forms on the websites of the power corporations. With the electricity price reduction, support of electricity fees, the total amount of support money is estimated at about 11 trillion dollars for all electricity users. In addition to more than 2 million customers of production and business facilities will also enjoy a 10% discount on electricity retail prices. A number of banks have issued warning about online scammers taking advantage of charitable donation websites related to COVID-19 to install malicious code and steal users' information. In addition, fraudsters have faked the government agencies, epidemic prevention authorities, National Steering Committee for Epidemic Prevention and Control, or the Ministry of Health, and sent emails with topics related to COVID-19. These emails are attached with files containing viruses or malicious code, thereby stealing personal information to conduct property appropriation transactions. Taking advantage of the time when many people work from home, some online scammers fake to be technical support team and ask people to provide information. Therefore, users should be alert when receiving and providing personal information as well as their accounts. The City Department of Transport said that the Ministry of Transport has officially announced the plan of operation for the aviation and railway sectors for 1 week of continuing the implementation of social distancing rules from April the 16th to 22nd. Accordingly, the Ministry of Transport decided to extend the limit for domestic flights to 10 round-trip flights per day. Accordingly, there are 2 round-trip flights per day on Hanoi Đà Nẵng Air routes and 2 round-trip flights per day on Ho Chi Minh City Đà Nẵng Air routes. In addition to the flights between the 3 cities, if the airlines need to operate any more flights to other localities, they can make a plan to submit to the Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam for consideration and decision based on the epidemic situation in the related localities. The Municipal Department of Education and Training had just launched a plan for the enrollment of 10th grade students into high school next year, in which the exam time will be delayed until mid-July. According to this plan, the next high school entrance exam in Đà Nẵng will be held in the form of examination combined with admission based on the total score of the academic and behavioral ranking of the 4 academic years in secondary school, adding priority points, if any. The exam for public high schools is expected to be held on July the 18th and 19th with 3 subjects of math, literature, and foreign language. The Executive Board of the Cup of Compassion Coffee Program under the Đà Nẵng Journalists Association had just visited and presented gifts to the Đà Nẵng Women and Children Hospital for COVID-19 prevention and control. The delegation gave the financial support of $20 million to representatives of the Đà Nẵng Women and Children Hospital. At the ceremony, the delegation shared difficulties and hardships of doctors, officials, and medical staff in the fight against the epidemic, thereby expressing gratitude of the community and journalists to the hospital, and helping all doctors and medical staff to overcome difficulties in the fight against the epidemic. According to the City Department of Planning and Investment, thanks to the synchronous and drastic implementation of many solutions since the beginning of this year, so far, the city's progress of public investment capital disbursement has showed big trend over the same period last year. Specifically, on April the 15th, the city government disbursed nearly $1,600 billion, reaching 13% of the set plan. In particular, the amount of capital disbursed for the key projects reached 19.3% of the set plan, accounting for 63.3% of the total value of disbursement. Although many solutions have been put forward to removing difficulties, the current obstacle is still in the wake of site clearance, when the disbursement rate has reached only 3.5% of the set plan, leading to the slow progress of disbursement rate of construction capital due to no ground for construction. The Municipal People's Committee has launched a plan to implement the classification of daily garbage as source in the city in 2020. Accordingly, the city will focus on synchronously deploying solid waste classification as source with the goal that 100% of households, organizations, and production, business, and service establishments are popularized and guided to implement classification of daily solid waste as source, and the rate of domestic solid waste being reused and recycled reaches at least 12%. The People's Committees of districts will synchronously conduct the sorting of daily trash as source in July 2020. According to the Đà Nẵng Consultant Technical Construction Center, which is the organizer of the contest to design architectural plans to upgrade the existing coal market, the selection council has selected 14 entries into the presentation round. Accordingly, as of March 13, 2020, which is the deadline for submission of entries, the organizing board received 21 entries from 20 units, including 18 domestic units and 2 international ones. The selection council preliminarily evaluated and agreed to select 14 entries for the presentation round. In addition, the organizing board got public opinions on 21 entries to choose a plan to win the community prize, provided that the winning entry must be the one that is allowed to enter the presentation round, then choosing the first, second, and third prizes. And now let's take a look at our updated weather forecasts. And that's it for today's news. Don't forget to check out DaNangTV.vn to rewatch our programs. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.